Committee hearing resumes.
Mr. Chair,
May I continue, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair,
The point of
Congressman
order.
Acop is recognized.
with the indulgence of the Honorable Marcoleta, Mr. Chair, I think we might as well agree to disagree with one another here. Bago po tayo magpatuloy. Di po ba?
Yes, I agree, Congressman Acop.
So, we follow our rules. The Honorable Marcoleta is a member of this Congress, so he knows the rules and he is obligated to follow the rules. Otherwise, he'll be declared out of order and be taken out of this room. So, for all of us, members of Congress, let's follow the House rules. That's why they are there, for orderly proceedings. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Acop. We will now proceed to the next item in our agenda. Wala na po
Mr.
tayong...
Chair, respectfully, may I say something?
Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Honorable Vice
Mr. Chair.
President, before I recognize you, would you like to take your oath?
Yeah.
I
Mr.
will only
Chair.
recognize you if you will take your oath.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do this.
Please administer the oath of the Honorable Vice President.
Your Honor, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry, so help you God?
Yes.
Yeah, oath has been administered, Your Honors.
Thank you. I will recognize you now,
Okay.
Honorable Vice President.
Yes. Mr. Chair, the position of Undersecretary and Assistant Secretaries and other appointed positions are positions of trust and confidence by the appointing authority. The resignation letters of the USEX and the ASEX of DepEd were accepted by the appointing authority. And who is that? Mr. Chair. The President of the Republic of the Philippines. It is not the Secretary of the Department of Education. So you ask the President of the Republic of the Philippines why he accepted the resignation of the USEX and the ASEX.
What is the point, Honorable Vice President?
Ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, bakit nyo kine-question ang due process? Tanungin nyo ang appointing authority, bakit niya tinanggap ang resignation letter?
Madam Vice President,
Yes, sir.
we will, wala pa po tayo dun sa usapin na yun.
Sa anong usapin,
Later
sir?
po, sa binabanggit po ninyo.
Sa anong
Wala
usap-
pa po tayo sa period of interpellation. Bubuksan ko pa lamang po ang period of interpellation.
Yes, sir. Nandun na kayo sa topic. Hindi po tayo nag-i-interpellation
Madam
ngayon.
Vice President, nag-uusap po muna ang mga miyembro.
Yes,
so,
sir.
please do respect. Yung
Yes,
mga-
I am very respectful. I am dovetailing from Congressman Marcoleta. The appointing authority is the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Why are you questioning due process in a discussion of resignation of USEX and ASEX?
Wala pa pong nagtatanong about that, Madam Vice President.
Sir, kinontempt nyo
Madam-
na, sir, dinetain nyo na yung tao for due process.
Madam Vice President,
Sir, nasa loob ng detention ang tao because you questioned due process. Asaan ang explanation ng due process ninyo doon? Nasaan?
Madam Vice
Tinanong
President,
kita kanina. I'm sorry, sir. Tinanong kita kanina, sino ang appointing authority? USEC ng ASEC. Anong sagot mo? Secretary. Hindi mo
pa po-
alam.
Hindi pa po ako nagsumasagot.
Hindi mo. Nakita kita, sumagot. Camera. Kita kita sumagot. Sinabi mo, Secretary. Hindi niyo alam lahat.
One
Na ang
minute,
nag-a-appoint
one
ay
minute
President.
suspension is declared by the chair.
Can we observe proper decorum, Mr. Chairman?
sit with me. Yes, sir.
Committee hearing resumes.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair.
may I be
Yes,
allowed?
Madam Vice
Yes.
President.
You need to reconsider that extension of your detention. It was illegal in the first place. You asked the president why he accepted the resignation. Do not ask due process.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Paduano. Congressman Nakop.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice President, if you have any question insofar as the actions of this committee are concerned, I think the proper remedy is for you to go to the court.
Sure, I will go to court.
Opo, pero
Oo,
that is
pero
your-
araw-araw, you are depriving a person of her liberty while I await
that is precisely the point, ma'am.
the
If our action of detaining your chief of staff is against the law, I think the proper remedy, and I think you're a lawyer,
Yes, sir.
the proper remedy is to go to the court.
Sir, do you really want to show the Filipino people kung anong kaalaman ninyo sa batas?
Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay sundin
Oo.
po natin yung batas
Kaya
dito
nga,
sa
sir,
House.
sundin natin yung
Kasi
batas.
nandito po kayo dito sa bahay ng Kongreso.
Yes, sir. Sundin natin yung batas. Why will you penalize, punish Yusek Lopez for an act of the president?
Madam Vice President, that is the decision of the committee as a whole. Sana po respetuhin po ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Kung meron pong
Okay.
remedy, alam naman po ninyo bilang abogado na tama po yung sinasabi ni Congressman Acop, pwede po tayong mag-file ng relief sa court.
Okay, sige, sir. Tinutulungan ko lang kayo, sir, kasi napapahiya ang Pilipinas. Ganito ba ang House of Representatives? Tinutulungan ko lang kayo.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Vice President.
With all due respect,
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman
Mr. Chair, I move that we
Deputy
strike
Speaker
out. Yeah, I move that we
Suarez.
strike out that last comment said about the House of Representatives. I don't think that is warranted. Neither is it fair to make statements such as that. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may
Congressman
we
Dan
remind all the
Fernandez.
resource persons to address the chairman kasi nakakawala po ng respeto sa committee na to kung hindi po natin i-address ang chairman. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will now continue to the next item in our agenda. We will now proceed to the interpellation proper. The first to interpolate is the Honorable Congressman Akop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask Mr. Edward Farda? Uh, Mr. Farda, you were the special dispersing officer during the period when Vice President Sara Duterte was the Secretary of DepEd.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Edward Farda, you're recognized.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I confirm.
Thank you. Would you also confirm the 3 land bank checks, each amounting to 37.5 million, were issued to you as payee and were encashed by you? Would you confirm that?
Mr. Farda, you are recognized.
Your Honor, I confirm.
Thank you. And would you also confirm that you certified the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the DepEd confidential funds and in fact issued the corresponding certification? Would you confirm that?
Mr. Chair, pwede pong paulit lang po nung question regarding dun sa issue ng certification.
Congressman Akop, please continue. Please repeat.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Farda, did you certify to the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the DepEd confidential funds and in fact issued the corresponding certification?
Mr. Chair, wala kaming kakampi dito, walang maka-point of order para sa amin. How can you ask a resource person without
Madam
giving him
Vice-
copies? Without giving him
Mr. Chair, point
copies?
of
Madam
order,
Vice
Mr. Chair.
President, please wait to be recognized.
Give him copies.
Point of order. What's the point of order of the Honorable
Yes,
Castro?
Mr. Chair, Representative Akop is asking our resource person, why is it that the Vice President is batting?
Yes,
Yes, the
ma'am.
point of
No,
order
hindi
Kasi
is
po
wala
dapat
kaming
ganon.
kakampi
proper.
dito, ma'am.
Pero dapat
Walang
hanggang
One
maka-point
minute
of
to just
order.
declare the decision.
well, point of
Session resumes. Please continue, Congressman Akop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I proceed, I would like to ask COA. Sige. COA, would you agree that 3 land bank checks, each amounting to 37.5 million, were issued to Mr. Edward Farda as payee?
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And did Mr. Edward Farda certify to the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the DepEd confidential funds, and in fact issued the corresponding certification?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. And Mr. Fajarda and Madam Acosta also prepared the corresponding accomplishment reports for the use of the DepEd confidential funds. Would that be correct?
Mr. Fajarda, yes, Mr. Chair.
Could you please repeat your answer, Madam?
For Mr. Fajarda for DepEd, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Now, may I know, Mr. Edward Farda, si Miss Sunshine po ay asawa po ninyo?
Yes, Your Honor, you're correct.
Yes. And Miss Sunshine Farda ay nagtatrabaho rin doon sa office ng Vice President.
During DepEd po, kasama po siya.
Yes, thank you. Now, Mr. Chair, para lang ma-recall po natin, si Miss Sunshine ang pinangalanan ng ating mga resource persons natin nung mga nakaraang hearing na nag-abot ng payola money sa mga empleyado ng DepEd at sinasabi niya na ito ay galing kay Vice President Sara. Bagay na bagay sa kanya ang kanyang pangalan. Talagang sunshine siya dahil paano ba naman hindi iilaw ang mukha mo pag naabutan ka ng pera? Meanwhile, si Mr. Farda naman ang pinapangalan nung nakaraang proseso ng payola money through land bank payroll accounts ng field personnel, pero due to supposed security reasons, hiningi niya ang personal ATM account numbers para doon na lang ipapadala ang payola ng field personnel, effectively bypassing the official documentation of all the transactions. In short, Mr. Farda, kayong mag-asawa ay nagtatrabaho para kay Vice President Sara. Tama po ba?
Mr. Edward Fajarda.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Kayo ni Miss Sunshine ay galing sa Davao. Tama rin po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bago kayo nagtrabaho under DepEd with Vice President Sara as the Secretary, si Miss Sunshine ay nagtrabaho for VP Sara nung siya ay mayor ng Davao City. Tama po?
Mr. Fajarda.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, Mr. Farda, lumipat kayo ng Maynila to serve under the office of the Vice President and in DepEd. Tama rin po ba?
Your Honor, yung po kasing asawa ko nasa Manila, so kung ako po ay nasa Davao, so I decided na mag-apply po ako sa DepEd, kaya nagkasama po kami.
Noong si Vice President Sara ay nakabase po sa Davao as the City Vice Mayor, hindi po kayo part ng kanyang staff. Tama rin po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
In short, bago kayo naging SDO or Special Disbursing Officer ng DepEd, wala po kayo involvement kay Vice President Sara.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct. Dahil sa inyong asawa, si Miss Sunshine, kayo po ay nakilala ni Vice President Sara. Tama rin po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sa makatuwid, tama rin po ba na ang pagiging special dispersing officer ninyo ay ang first job nyo kay Vice President?
Your Honor, executive assistant po ako bago po ako naging SDO.
So
Special
hindi ito ang
Disbursement.
first time na trabaho po ninyo kay Vice President?
Executive assistant.
Yes. Ang SDO appointment ang SDO ay isang appointment by the head of office. Would you agree with that?
I believe po trust and confidence po.
Oh, pero nag-appoint yung head of office.
Opo.
Thank you. In other words, pinili po kayo ni Vice President na maging special dispersing officer. Tama.
By trust and confidence po.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Chair, as we can see, isa lang ang credential ni Mr. Farda upang siya ay piliin ni Vice President Sara para maging SDO. Ito ay dahil siya ay asawa ni Miss Sunshine. Alam naman natin ang posisyon na SDO requires trust dahil malaki ang funds na involved dito. Sinabi na rin ni Mr. Farda yun. For the case of DepEd, kay Mr. Farda, unang ibinigay ang confidential funds na umaabot ng mahigit 100 milyon. Mr. Farda, are you a regular employee within the meaning of our civil service?
Mr. Chair, executive assistant po is also appointed po ng head of the office of the agency, considered po as a regular employee.
Considered as a regular employee and therefore covered po ng civil service rules. Would you agree?
Mr. Chair, hindi po ako masyadong maalam sa rules po ng civil service. So, can I ask someone?
Kasi if you're a regular employee under our civil service rules, the fact that you're appointed in the DepEd as co-terminus with the Vice President and then Secretary of Education, are you trying to tell this committee that a co-terminus employee would be a regular employee within the meaning of our civil service rules? And if no naman, I think you would also be aware that under a joint circular, a special disbursing officer must be a regular employee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Now the question is, are you or do you consider yourself a regular employee despite your being a coterminous employee?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're a regular employee. You consider yourself such. Okay. But as a coterminous employee, you serve at the pleasure of your principal. Tama rin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Meaning the principal is the vice president.
Yes,
And
Your Honor.
she can remove you from office at any point in time. Tama rin.
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, at the appropriate time, I wish to explore legislation on this matter because an SDO cannot be a coterminous employee. We have to remember that confidential funds, when granted to a civilian agency, is related to the functions of the agency itself. As such, the person handling it must be a career employee, preferably of that agency, so that we are certain where loyalty lies. Not just a coterminous employee where incentives are aligned towards ensuring that the principal is pleased with his or her performance. Do we have a representative of the Bureau of Treasury, Mr. Chair?
Comsec?
Your Honor, Bureau of Treasury was informed belatedly, but they will try their best to appear today, Your Honor.
So they're not present today.
Not present today, Your Honor.
Kasi, Mr. Chair, ang tatanungin ko po sana is tungkol po dun sa fidelity bond. And the representative of the Bureau of Treasury is the appropriate or proper person to explain to us yung fidelity bond vis-a-vis the accountable officer.
Your
Congressman
Honor.
Akop, I think the the representative of Bureau of Treasury is present.
May I please recognize Attorney Jericho Cadorna, OIC for the Complaints and Investigation Division of the Bureau of Treasury, Your Honor.
Nakapag-oath na po ba siya, Comsec?
Previously, in the previous hearings, Your Honor, he has already taken his oath.
Okay. Please take your seat, Attorney Cardona. Please proceed, Congressman Akop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attorney, bago i-discuss po natin yung fidelity bond, maaari po ba ninyong explain sa amin o sa committee na ito at sa mga nandito ngayong araw na ito, ano ang accountable officer at sino po ang mga pwedeng maging accountable officers?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and to the Honorable Committee. Your Honor, to answer the question of Your Honor, to determine who is an accountable officer, we refer to the requirement of the public bonding law or the definition of the public bonding law as to who is an accountable officer. Section 314 of the public bonding law states that every officer, agent, and employee of the government of the Philippines or of the companies or corporations, the majority of the stock of which is held by the national government shall, whenever the nature of the duties performed by such officer, agent, or employee permits or requires the custody of funds or property for which he is accountable, be deemed a bondable officer. And except as otherwise provided, every such person shall be bonded or bondable and his fidelity insured in accordance with the public bonding law.
With your definition, Attorney, yung bang special disbursement officer ay isa sa mga accountable officers?
As per my knowledge, Your Honor, in the operations of the Bureau of the Treasury, special disbursing officers are one of the officials who are considered bondable because of the fact that they are in custody or in possession of public funds or property. However, admittedly, Your Honor, as far as the legal service of the Bureau of the Treasury is concerned, we often recommend a different evaluation criteria because special disbursing officers are generally only designated additional accountable functions on top of their core functions, which ordinarily does not involve public funds or property, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Attorney. My question was very simple. Ang tanong ko lang po kung ang mga designated special disbursing officers are also accountable officers pursuant to the definition that you have cited to us. Yes or no lang naman po?
Yes, Your Honor, considering that if they are granted or designated additional functions as special disbursing officers, the nature of the duties then would require custody of funds or property, Your Honor.
And therefore, Mr. Edward Farda is an accountable officer pursuant to that definition.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, ayon sa ating joint circular, an accountable officer is an officer of the government whose duties permit or require the possession or custody of government funds and property, and who shall be accountable therefore and for the safekeeping thereof in conformity with our laws and regulations. As clearly established by the discussion earlier, Mr. Edward Farda is indeed an accountable officer, not only by the fact of his position as SDO, but also by the fact of the confirmation of receipt of confidential funds for DepEd respectively in 2022 and 2023. Now, Attorney, you must be aware of Treasury Circular Number 1-2022 regarding supplemental guidelines on the revised omnibus regulations governing the fidelity bonding of accountable public officers being part of the Bureau of Treasury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, base po sa circular ng Treasury, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng bondable officer? Ito po ba ay nangangaluhugan na may bond na ipinopost para sa kanya?
Yes, Your Honor.
And ano po yung tawag po ninyo doon sa bond na binibigay ng bondable officer?
It is referred to by the Bureau of the Treasury as the fidelity bond, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Pwede po bang ipaliwanag niyo po sa amin, sa lahat na nandito, kung ano po ang ibig sabihin ng fidelity bond in layman's terms?
Your Honor, a fidelity bond or the posting of the fidelity bond is an assurance or the commitment of an accountable public officer that he will faithfully discharge and lawfully discharge his duties, particularly his accountable public duties, considering that the accountable public officer is in possession of public funds or property. It is a commitment, Your Honor, that the accountable public official will faithfully and lawfully discharge his or her duties.
Ano po ang purpose? Is that the last statement that you made? Yan po ba ang purpose ng fidelity bond?
Its purpose also, Your Honor, is for the accountable public official for his fidelity to be covered, Your Honor, to be covered by the Fidelity Fund.
Marami pong salamat. Now, bakit kailangan mag-post ng fidelity bond ang isang accountable officer katulad ni Mr. Fajarda?
Your Honor, because the reason being is that because the fidelity bond or a bondable officer is a bonded officer rather is covered by the Fidelity Fund, the Fidelity Fund maintained in the Bureau of the Treasury shall be available for the purpose of replacing defalcations, shortages, and unrelieved losses in their account, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ngayon, sa Bureau of Treasury, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng public fund?
Allow me to just refer to the
Please,
circular, Your Honor. So,
please, Attorney.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. I will quote item Q of the definition of terms under Treasury Circular 2-2019 as amended. Public funds shall refer to funds or public monies under the possession, custody, or control of an accountable officer by virtue of his or her official position or designation, which include public monies of every sort and other financial resources such as cash, instruments, representing or convertible to money, receivables, and the like pertaining to the government agency, Your Honor.
And pursuant to that definition that you have read, ang confidential funds ng DepEd ay kasama sa public funds under the possession, custody, or control of the special disbursing officer. In this case, Mr. Edward Fajarda.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ano po ang liability ng accountable officer katulad ni Mr. Fajarda sa ganitong sitwasyon?
Liability, Your Honor, in
Yeah.
if I may.
Are they accountable sa mga losses dahil sa unlawful deposit, unlawful use, or application of public funds, unlawful application of public funds? Sila po ang accountable?
Yes, Your Honor. If there is unlawful disbursement, considering that the Administrative Code of 1987 states that every accountable officer shall be personally liable for the funds or property in his or her possession, Your Honor.
liable din sila kahit attributable ang loss sa kanilang negligence sa paghawak po ng mga pondong ito.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Farda, having listened to the explanation of the representative of the Bureau of Treasury, are you aware of the magnitude of your accountability as Special Disbursing Officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let me confirm. Salary grade 17 po kayo, tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And correct po ba yung aking record ng inyong monthly salary ay around 35,000 to 40,000? Mali po ba yun?
Your Honor, 41,000. Ganyan po malapit. Hindi ko lang po alam yung exact figure.
So malapit dito. Malapit dito sa numerong
Mga
sinabi ko.
40 plus,
Ah.
40 to 50.
Yeah. Kanina, napag-usapan natin with the Bureau of Treasury ang fidelity bond at ang purpose nito. Naintindihan mo naman siguro yung explanation ng representative ng Bureau of Treasury. Nung kayo po ba, Mr. Farda, to minimize the probability of theft or crimes in relation to the confidential funds na inyo pong hawak, ano po yung controls na inilagay po ninyo? Kayo po ba ay hiningan ng proof ng iyong income o properties?
Your Honor, ang tanong po niyo po ba yung as SDO, as an SDO?
Yeah, bilang SDO at may hawak po ng confidential funds, may nilagay po ba kayong controls sa paggamit po nito? Or hiningan po ba kayo o pinag-submit po ba kayo ng iyong income at saka list of properties?
Your Honor, nasa SALN po kasi yan. Meron po yung copy po sa DepEd. Nung nag-apply po ako, naghingi po sila ng SALN.
Hiningi po sa inyo ito at nag-submit naman po kayo.
Opo. Nung nag-apply po ako sa DepEd.
Okay. Now, to the Bureau of Treasury, yung bond fidelity is required when you hold public funds. Tama po.
Yes, Your Honor.
At ang purpose ng fidelity bond is to ensure against losses, shortages, and defalcation by officers or employees accountable for public funds. Tama rin po.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, ito pong mga nakalagay dito ay to ensure na gagamitin po ng tama and for the specified purpose ang public funds. Tama po ba? Dahil kung hindi po ginamit doon for what is intended for, you are violating the law. Would you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, would you also agree with me that the fidelity bond should be equal to the amount of public funds that you would hold being a special disbursing officer? Would that be correct?
Well, I do agree, Your Honor. But that is...
Hindi ko po tinatanong kung nag-agree po kayo.
Mhm.
Tama rin po ba according to your rules?
As for the Bureau of the Treasury's rules, Your Honor, admittedly, the coverage of the bond is not equal to the amount of the accountability disclosed. That is the present policy or the existing policy of the Bureau of the Treasury, Your Honor.
Now, may I know the reason why pumayag o nag-agree po kayo sa aking contention? Kasi importante po ito dahil pwedeng baguhin natin yung nandun sa Bureau of Treasury.
Let me preface my answer, Your Honor, by saying that this is just my personal opinion as part of the legal service, and this does not preempt a forthcoming position of the Bureau. But I do agree with the sentiment, Your Honor, because it has the features of an insurance. So therefore, in order for it to fully insure, you could say the fidelity losses should be reimbursed by the by said insurance. But then again, Your Honor, that is just my personal opinion, and this does not preempt any forthcoming official position of the Bureau, because really the reason why there is a minimization or limit on the bond coverage is to reduce moral hazards, Your Honor, and the fact that there are fiscal implications because presently the Fidelity Fund are with the Bureau of the Treasury. So to reimburse it fully would have fiscal implications, Your Honor.
Kasi, would you agree also na kung sobra naman ang liit ng bond, then wala na pong incentive to use the trusted public fund properly. Will you also agree with that, Attorney?
I would agree with that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Si Mr. Farda ay pinayagan maghawak ng up to 50 million o ang kanyang approved amount of bond. Based on this data, the approved amount of bond is 4 million while the bond premium is 60,000. Tama rin po ba yun sa inyong mga rules and regulations?
While I do not have the records, actually, Your Honor, because that belongs to the National Capital Region Regional Office, and the invitation was belatedly sent. But if we would refer to the schedule of premium rates, accountability, and bond coverage, if I may ask again, Your Honor, the accountability is for how much, Your Honor?
50 million.
50 million.
That is the approved amount of bond.
50 million, Your Honor, for the bond, Your Honor?
Yeah,
Perhaps accountability, Your Honor.
yes, the accountability is 50 million. The approved amount of bond is 4 million.
Yes, Your Honor, that would be compliant with the schedule of premium rates under existing treasury circulars. For minimum cash accountability ranging from 25 million and 1 peso to 75 million pesos, the amount of bond would be 4 million with a premium to be paid, which is 60,000.
60,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama sa rules and regulations po ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, pakipaliwanag po sa amin anong ibig sabihin ng approved amount of bond?
That is basically, Your Honor, the coverage of the Fidelity Fund. If ever there are losses, shortages, and defalcations, that is the maximum amount that can be paid by the Bureau of the Treasury. Whichever is lesser, Your Honor, it could be the amount of loss if it's lesser, or it could be the amount of the bond if it is lesser, Your Honor.
Okay. Ano rin po ba ang bond premium?
It is to be paid, Your Honor, by the agency in order for the bond to be confirmed, or for basically the contract to be binding, Your Honor, that the official is bonded.
Yes. Thank you. In the case of Mr. Farda, hindi po ba maliwanag na ang layo ng approved amount of bond and the bond premium sa amount of accountability po niya? Will you agree with that?
I would agree with that, Your Honor, because such is the present status of the policy, Your Honor.
Yes, yung sitwasyon ba na ito ay tama according to your rules?
According to the rules, Your Honor, it would be correct because that is what is stated under the policy, Your
So
Honor.
normal.
Per the rules, Your Honor, that would be normal, Your Honor.
Would you agree also with me that if this is the situation, there is no incentive for Mr. Farda to properly use the 50 million? Will you agree with that?
As far as the fidelity bonding operations is concerned, Your Honor, considering that the bond coverage is admittedly very minimal, well, yes, Your Honor, just personal opinion, looking at it with the features of an insurance contract, Your Honor.
We have established a while ago that the salary grade of Mr. Edward Farda is only 17 and thus earns around more or less 40,000 a month. Further, he was not asked to show, or he was asked to show properties, but was not, I think he also was asked to provide a financial capacity to cover the accountable amount of 50 million. So, pinipilit ko pong intindihin how could 4 million bond serve as protection for the 50 million public funds entrusted to a person sa inyong departamento. Hindi nyo po ba napag-aralan ito? How would a, 4 million bond serve as a protection for a 50 million public fund entrusted to an SDO?
In that regard, Your Honor, as I was not part of I do not have the knowledge on the wisdom behind the matrix of schedule of premium rates, because since time immemorial, admittedly, Your Honor, it has been this way. It was just added, or additional items were just added throughout the years. But I would refer it to our principals, Your Honor, if there's a need for the Bureau's position
Kaya nga.
regarding the matter.
Kaya ako po tinatanong, baka I think there's a need already to amend. Di po ba? Kasi yung amount, wala pa nga 20% nung coverage. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, COA, can you please walk us through the steps of obtaining confidential funds? Would it be correct that this begins with the disbursement voucher? Madam COA?
Sir, Mr. Chair, may I ask? Can the question be repeated?
Thank you. Can you please walk us through the steps of obtaining a confidential obtaining confidential funds? Would it be true that this begins with a disbursement voucher?
Yes, Mr. Chair, from the cash advances, for the cash advance.
Correct. Tama.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, ano po ang purpose ng isang disbursement voucher?
It is to ano po, yung para mag-request nung cash advance, nung amount na gagamitin for the purpose in the DV po.
Okay. Mr. Farda, sa nakaraang mga hearing namin, paulit-ulit pong nababanggit ang inyong pangalan. Sa katunayan, nabanggit din po ang pangalan niyo ni Attorney Michael Powa, spokesperson dati ni Vice President Sara, at dating Chief of Staff sa DepEd. Kilala niyo po ba siya?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. At noong nakaraang hearing, napag-usapan ang confidential funds ng DepEd, pati ang mga YLS or Youth Leadership Summits. Dahil hindi po kayo nagpakita nung nakaraang mga hearing, wala po kaming choice kung hindi magtanong sa mga resource persons na nandito noon, nung araw na yon. Pero ayon kay Attorney Powa, ikaw at si Vice President Sara lang ang may alam tungkol sa paggamit ng confidential funds. Do you confirm this? O si Attorney Powa ang nagsisinungaling?
Your Honor, ang nag-uusap lang po tungkol po sa confidential fund po sa office ako at saka si BP Sara, pero regarding po sa operation, may kausap pa po akong iba.
So,
Sa operation,
tama po yung
tama po
sinabi
yung
ko.
kay Mecca
Tama
po.
po.
Kay Yusek po.
Now, bago po tayo-
Pero, I said, sorry, Your Honor, sorry.
Sige, sige.
May kausap pa po akong iba, mga security officer po.
Ano po?
Yung pong security officer.
Ang nakakaalam na isa. So, tatlo kayo.
Ang kausap ko po si Ma'am Sara and then ako po sa security officer.
Okay. Security officer, ikaw at saka vice president. Correct. Okay.
Your Honor, hindi po nag-uusap po si security officer at saka si Vice President Sara.
So ikaw lang ang kausap ng security officer.
Opo.
Kakilapit lang yung mic to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bago tayo pumunta sa mga pinaggamitan ng confidential funds, dito muna tayo sa paano ba ipaprocess ang confidential funds. Specifically, yung confidential fund ng DepEd. Ang una pong step, Mr. Farda, is yung disbursement voucher. Would that be correct?
Your Honor, may isa pa pong ginagawa para po magawa po yung disbursement.
Ano
voucher.
po yun?
Physical and financial plan po.
Yes. There must be a physical and financial plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Yung pong disbursement voucher para sa first quarter ng 2023 in the amount of 37.5 million, sa iyo po ba nakapangalan yung disbursement voucher?
Your Honor, ang pinapangalan po sa akin yung cheque. Yung pong cheque.
Yeah. Sa iyo po.
Yung cheque po.
Yung disbursement voucher, wala.
Ayan po ang disbursement voucher. So, nakaperma lang po ako dyan. Pero,
Nandyan yung pangalan po
Apo,
ninyo.
nagsasign po ako, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yun din pong cheque, kagaya ng sabi ninyo, nakapangalan na rin po sa inyo.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay. Pero matanong ko po, kayo po ba nag-prepare ng disbursement voucher?
Your Honor, ang nagpe-prepare po niyan sa DepEd ay yung pong accounting.
So, ang nagpre-prepare ng mga disbursement vouchers ng confidential funds of DepEd ay yung accounting division po.
Yung pong disbursement po, as to disbursement.
Yung vouchers.
Opo.
Pero this whole process would be under your supervision.
Your Honor, alam ko lang po yung mga signatory dyan, pero ang mas knowledgeable po dyan ay yung accounting po.
Wala po bang nag-uutos sa iyo na i-prepare ang mga disbursement vouchers o ihanda ang mga ito para requirement po ng paggamit ng confidential funds?
Your Honor, pag mayroon na pong physical and financial plan, minsan po pupunta ako sa accounting para mag-request na po na pwede na pong gawin yung disbursement voucher. Kasi
And who gives you that order?
Your Honor, as SDO, pag meron na pong physical financial plan, alam ko na po na kailangan na pong kasunod pong gawin ang disbursement voucher.
Automatic na ginagawa po ninyo?
Pag meron na pong physical and financial plan, automatic na po na magpapagawa na po ako ng disbursement voucher.
Okay. Thank you. Kayo rin po ang payee. Ms. Catalan to sign?
Your Honor, as ano po yan eh, kapag ka po ang mga papers, si Miss Sunshine po ay nagpaperma na po kay Ma'am Sara ng disbursement voucher. Usually, trabaho po ni Miss Sunshine po yung regarding sa mga papers. May trabaho din po siyang ganyan.
Tama po ba yung aking statement?
Sorry, Your Honor, pwedeng paulit po yung statement nyo na yan.
Hindi ba tinanong ko kanina, yung pangalan po ni Miss Rona Catalan is nakalagay din po sa disbursement voucher na nakalagay diyan kanina.
Opo,
Nakita natin.
Opo, Your Honor.
Tama?
Tama
Ito po ba yung ni-request ni Madam Sunshine for Miss Catalan to sign?
Hindi ko po alam kasi po, yung pong separate po kasi kami ng trabaho eh. Kung, hindi ko po alam kung yan po talaga yung,
Yung one.
yung
Okay.
question po yan.
Kasi si Madam Runa Catalan in the previous hearings claimed that Madam Sunshine requested her to sign the liquidation vouchers for the 102.5 million in DepEd confidential funds, which were reportedly withdrawn as cash advances by you, who serve as the special dispersing officer at DepEd. Yun po yung sinabi ni Madam Catalan, kaya tinatanong ko po kayo.
Your Honor, ang ano po namin is ang per quarter po, lagi pong 37.5
Yeah.
million. Opo.
Tatlong beses.
Opo, tatlong beses po.
Yes. So, totoo yung claim ni Madam Runa Catalan.
Siguro po, kaya hindi ko po sure, kaya wala po kasi
Okay.
ako doon.
Thank you. I'll take that for an answer. Yung pag-issue ng cheque sa'yo, yung date ay same date ng disbursement voucher. Would you remember that?
Pag-issue po ng cheque,
Kaya nandyan.
Your Honor, ano pong ibig sabihin po issue po ng cheque? Same
Nagkasabay
date.
po nung disbursement voucher. Doon
Ay,
sa,
ang sa pagkakaalam ko, ginagawa po muna yung disbursement voucher
Agree.
para po makagawa ng cheque.
Pero yung pagkatapos ng disbursement voucher, sumunod ka agad yung pagkagawa ng cheque. Would you agree?
Hindi ko na po alam ko kasi accounting po ang nagpa-process nun eh.
Accounting.
Po.
Kasi may pagkaalam po ako doon sa controllership iho eh. So I know. And nakikita ko na napakabilis nung pagkatapos ng disbursement voucher, may cheque kaagad. Napakabilis po ng proseso.
Accounting
Hindi.
po kasi nagpa-process, Your
Di ba?
Honor.
Yes. At ayon dito sa disbursement voucher, na-receive mo ang cheque for 37.5 million. Tama.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I would just like to manifest, Mr. Chair, nakita natin sa screen ang kopya ng 37.5 million check na issued na-issue kay Mr. Farda. Ang pag-advance ng 37.5 million na ito ay may approval ng Office of the Vice President. In fact, nakalagay nga sa disbursement voucher itong cash advance ay necessary, incurred lawfully and under her direct supervision. Mr. Farda, nung nakuha mo na yung cheque, ano po ang ginawa niyo po sa cheque?
Your Honor, yan po ay withdrawin ko. Pero sa naalala ko po, hindi po agad na withdraw eh. Ano po ata ng kinabukasan pa. Kasi sa pagkaalam ko po, ang bangko wala pong ganyan atang.
Winidraw niyo po ba ito one time?
Yes, Your Honor. Yung pong 37.
Okay. Yung pagka-withdraw nyo yung pondo, saan nyo po dinala?
Sa office po, Your Honor.
Sa office. So, meron po kayong vault doon that would be able to hold 37.5 million.
Meron po, Your Honor.
Meron. Okay. Kapag meron na ngayon tao na sa inyong opisina na nangangailangan o may gagamitin para na confidential funds mula sa iyo, inaalam mo ba kung saan gagamitin?
Your Honor, meron po akong process ng pag-disburse niyan, Your Honor.
Could you explain to us anong process ng pagdi-disburse mo?
Sa isang ano ko lang po yan sa security officer lang po ako nagdi-disburse niyan. Wala na pong iba.
So, kung may nangangailangan ng confidential funds sa office ng DepEd, sa security officer lang mo binibigay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who might be that security officer who disburses together with you yung confidential funds ng DepEd?
Yes, Your Honor, meron po.
Sino po yung security officer?
Si Colonel Dennis Nolasco po.
Colonel. Sa kwan po ito? Sa DepEd?
Designated po siya as security officer sa DepEd.
Sa DepEd.
Opo.
Designated as security officer. So,
yes, Your Honor.
when designated, ang ibig sabihin po yun, meron silang appropriate legal orders.
You mean designate po siya?
Ano po?
Designate po siya.
Na-designate
Opo.
po siya. Sino po ang nag-designate sa kanya para maging security officer?
I was informed, BP Sara, that si Dennis Nolasco po I was informed na meron pong security officer na for DepEd. So, sa pagkaalam ko po, ang nag-assign po niyan ay si Colonel La Chica.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Pag ibinigay mo sa security officer, ano po ang hinihingi mo sa kanya na proof para saan gagamitin ito? Wala ka nang hinihingi?
Your Honor, may pinapakita po siyang quarterly activity plan po niya.
And do you have a copy of all these quarterly activity plans in the utilization of 37.5 million?
Your Honor, confidential po yan, so binabalik po sa kanya. So,
Ano po?
binabalik po sa kanya.
So you do not have any copy of that.
Wala po, Your Honor.
It is only Colonel Dennis Nolasco who would have copies of this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ngayon, matanong ko, sino-sino naman po ang humihingi na sa iyo ng confidential funds?
Diyan lang po ako nag-disburse sa kanya, Your Honor.
Siya lang?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, wala kang kaalam-alam kung saan o kanino ibinibigay ni Colonel Nolasco yung confidential funds.
Your Honor, si Colonel Nolasco po kasi ang expert sa confidential operation. So,
Hindi po ninyo sinasagot yung aking katanungan. Ang katanungan ko po ay si Colonel Dennis Nolasco ang nakakaalam kung sino at saan ginagamit yung confidential fund na ibinibigay mo sa kanya. Would that be correct?
Your Honor, based po dun sa quarterly activities na binibigay po niya,
Yes,
doon lang po nalalaman.
Ang sinasabi po ninyo sa amin is nagsasamit sa iyo si Colonel Dennis Nolasco ng quarterly activity plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, based on that, doon sa quarterly activity plan, nagbibigay po kayo ng CF. Ganon po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, nandun din siguro sa quarterly activity plan yung buong amount?
Your Honor, hindi po kasi buong amount po siya eh. meron po siyang certain amount na hindi po
Na
lahat
nakalagay
binibigay.
dun
Opo.
sa quarterly activity plan.
Opo.
Okay, thank you. Pag ibinibigay mo ng pondo, is it in cash?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Kasi ganito ang aking pagtatanong, Mr. Edward Farda, kasi gusto kong malaman o maintindihan saan po napupunta at paano ginagamit yung confidential funds. Pag nakuha mo na ito, kasi sa iyo nakapangalan yun eh. Di po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Sa second at third quarter, Mr. Farda, meron ding mga disbursement vouchers at checks. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Ngayon, isa-isahin natin bago tayo pumunta doon sa susunod na proseso ng confidential funds. Comsec, please show yung disbursement voucher for the second quarter.
Colonel Acop, General Acop. Can I just ask one question?
With the indulgence of Congressman Acop, the
Yes.
chair would like to recognize
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez.
So Edward, Mr. Fajarda, kayo po yung nagwi-withdraw ng pera sa Land Bank, tama po?
Yes, Your Honor.
Paano nyo po wini-withdraw yung pera mula sa bangko?
You mean normal process po ng pag-withdraw, Your Honor?
So cheque ang ibinibigay nyo, tapos ini-encash nyo po ito?
Yes, Your Honor.
So 37 million, medyo malaking halaga po yun. Saang land bank nyo po kinukuha yung cash?
Doon lang po sa Land Bank DepEd. Within the premises naman po yun ng DepEd.
Within the DepEd premises. So dun sa 37 million na wini-withdraw nyo, saan nyo po inilalagay ito?
Sa bag po. Backpack, saka dalawang bubble bag. Dalawa po.
I can't imagine kasi itong 37 million eh. Meron po kasi last hearing na pinakitang duffel bag. Ganito po kaya yung itsura niya? Mr. Fajarda?
More or less the same, pero may malaki pa po akong bag.
So ikaw lang mag-isa?
Opo.
Ha?
Your Honor, tatlo po yan bag. Dalawang...
So ikaw lang mag-isa ang nagbubuhat ng 37 million.
Yes, Your Honor. Kayang-kaya ko naman po.
Kasi lang wala kang ibang kasama, wala kang security personnel habang dala-dala niyo po yung pera.
Meron pong isa. Meron pa akong security.
Pwede niyo po kaya maibigay yung pangalan ng security na yon?
Tanungin ko lang po siya, Your Honor, ha, kung ibigay ko. Kasi ganito po kasi ang nangyayari. Kapag withdraw na po ako ng check, tatawagan ko po si security officer ko dun sa pagdi-disperse ko. Magbibigay po siya sa akin ng security. Tapos, sasabihin niya, dun po sa BPSPG sa baba, sa mga sundalo sa baba, may lalapit sa iyo pagbaba mo dyan. Nasasabihin sa iyo, akong magbabantay sa iyo. Lalakadin lang namin po. Doon lang naman sa within the...
So ang sinasabi niyo po, dun sa ilang beses po kayo nakapag-withdraw ng 37 million?
Tatlo, Your Honor.
3 beses. Sa 3 beses, iba't ibang tao po yung nakasama ninyo?
Siya lang po, Your Honor.
So pwede niyo po maibigay yung pangalan since iisa lang pala?
Sir Alan lang po ang tawag ko sa kanya.
Ba't kilala niyo po itong Sir Alan na to?
Sa mukha po, Your Honor, kasi BPSPG po siya. Kasama lang po lagi siya sa mga BPSPG. Nandun lang po lagi siya sa BPSPG pag bumababa po ako.
Bahagi po siya ng Vice President Security Group.
Siguro po kasi yun po ang mga kasama niya pag bumababa po ako. I think sundalo din po siya. Sundalo po siya.
Oo. Hindi po kayo nababahala na hindi niyo po masyadong kilala yung tao kaso lang malaking halaga ang dala-dala po ninyo?
Your Honor, si security officer po ang nagbigay sa akin. So,
Security officer pertaining to who?
to confidential fund po.
Hindi, sino yung security officer na nagbigay sa inyo dito sa ALA na binabanggit ninyo?
Si Colonel Nolasco po.
Colonel Nolasco.
Opo.
So itong security officer na to na si Alan, siya po yung kasama ninyo pupunta sa land bank, mag-encash ng cheque at daladalagan niyo po yung mga bag na punong-puno ng pera.
Yes, Your Honor.
At dinadala niyo po ito sa vault. Nabanggit niyo po yung
Opo,
vault.
yes, Your Honor.
Pwede niyo po kaya mailarawan sa amin kung gaano kalaki yung vault na pinaglalagyan po ng pera? Ito po ba'y kasing laki ninyo?
Mas mataas po ako ng konti. Almost yung laki ko po.
At kayo lang po ang may access sa vault na ito?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that, Chairman. Thank you very much, Congressman Acop, for that.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes, Congressman. Yes, Senior Deputy Speaker Don Gonzales, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Edward Fajarda, yung pong bahay nyo doon lang sa tabi ng Land Bank and DepEd.
Your Honor, malapit po doon. Pero hindi po sa tabi. Medyo malapit po doon.
Gumagamit po kayo ng sasakyan pag umuwi po kayo ng limbawa, galing kayo sa Land Bank, DepEd, punta kayo sa bahay nyo, kinakarga nyo lang po yung pera, hindi kayo gumagamit ng sasakyan.
You mean pertaining po pag nag-withdraw po ako,
Opo.
Your Honor? Your Honor, lakad ko lang po kasi within the premises lang po siya ng ng DepEd yung land bank.
Tapos dadalhin nyo po sa bahay nyo.
Ay, hindi po.
Ah,
Sa office po.
okay. Salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Congressman Acop, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For 2023, Mr. Edward Farda, you prepared 3 disbursement vouchers, 37.5 million. Tama? Tatlong 37.5 million.
Yes, Honor. Tama
Yung
po.
bang nangyari doon sa unang 37.5 million, yung second quarter disbursement voucher at saka yung third quarter disbursement voucher, parehas po ang nangyari, ang ginawa po ninyo?
You mean parehas?
Yung
Your Honor.
in-encash nyo yung cheque,
Opo. Yes, Your Honor. Opo.
i-draw ninyo tapos ibiligay nyo kay Colonel Dennis Nolasco.
Yes, Your Honor. Pero hindi po buo lahat yun.
Yan, yung ibig sabihin, meron pa bang ibang tao maliban kay Colonel Dennis Nolasco na kumuha sa inyo ng confidential fund?
Wala na po, Your Honor.
So,
Sa kanya po.
nag-iisa lang siya talaga.
Yes, Your Honor.
For the 3 checks
Yes, Your Honor.
worth 37.5 million
Tatlo po.
each.
Opo.
Tama?
Tama po.
Okay. Doon po tayo nagkakaintindi. Now, Mr. Farda, tuwing tatanggap ka ng cheque nung first, second, and third quarter, sabi mo kanina, wini-withdraw mo sa bangko, dinadala sa inyong opisina, nilalagay sa vault. Sabi mo kanina, meron po kayong vault sa inyong mga sa opisina. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hindi mo dinideposito sa bangko, nandun lang sa vault.
Nasa vault lang po, Your Honor.
Okay. And inaantay po ninyo na mag-provide sa inyo si Colonel Nolasco ng quarterly activity report or plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. May manifest, Mr. Chair, na nag-umpisa yung pagkuha ng confidential funds after gumawa po ng disbursement voucher. On the same day, Mr. Farda na na-issuean ng 37.5 million check or a total of 112.5 million. Tama, Farda? Kasi tatlong beses eh.
Tatlong beses po.
Yes.
Per quarter po, Your
3 times 37.5 would equal 112.5.
Tama po.
To emphasize, itong napakalaking halaga ng cash advance ayon sa vouchers ay necessary, lawful, and incurred in the office of the Vice President ayon sa certification ng ating pangalawang Pangulo sa mga disbursement vouchers. Mr. Farda, nung nakarang hearing, ayon kay Attorney Camora, kilala po niyo siya? Taga-COA? Hindi?
Your Honor.
Attorney Camora just accepted your accomplishment reports as correct, despite the blatant red flags. On February 2023, you encashed 37.5 million check and made, tama po ba yun? Sinabi ko? February 2023, in-encash mo yung 37.5 million check, yung first quarter.
I'm not sure lang po dun sa exact date ko, mga
Okay, pero
2021, something, mga ganyan, 2021,
2023,
mga ganyan po.
Kasi ang first quarter, January, February, March. Tama?
February po siya.
February. Thank you. But in the report, you made 7 disbursement in 7 different locations. Would that be true?
Your Honor, ang gumagawa po sa confidential operation ay si security officer po.
I beg your pardon?
Sa security, yung pong nagdi-disburse
Si
po
Colonel
ng,
Nolasco rin ang gumagawa nitong
yan siya po ang ano niyan.
sa...
Kanya pong expertise po yan. Yan pong
So,
7.
ibig mong sabihin, yung first quarter na 37.5 million check, ang gumawa ng 7 disbursements in 7 different locations ay si Colonel Dennis Nolasco. Hindi po kayo.
Hindi po ako si Peso po.
Yung pong total amount of 37.5.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, for the first quarter, kinuha lahat ni Colonel Nolasco at dinisburse niya in 7 different locations.
Your Honor, may hindi po yan buong 37 na bibigay sa kanya. Mostly weekly po yan eh. Mga weekly po, mostly weekly.
And what would be the average amount na ibibigay mo per week?
Your Honor, kailangan po ba mag-details ng, pwede ko bang hindi i-details yung amount? Or
Ano po?
pwede ko po bang hindi i-details yung amount?
Hindi mo sabihin?
Kung pwede lang po.
Ay, bakit hindi mo po?
Hindi po ba masyadong confidential na? Sige po. Your Honor, nagre-range po siya sa 4 to 6 million po.
Okay. Now, kasi doon sa pag-liquidate po ninyo, for example, yung first quarter, yung 7 disbursement were made yung February sa Malolos, Davao, San Francisco, Agusan del Sur, Makati City, Negros Oriental, Negros Occidental, and Davao City. May I ask, posible po ba ito?
Your Honor, hindi po kasi ako ang expert dyan. Si Colonel Nolasco po. Siya po kasi ang gumawa niyan.
Okay, thank you. In last 15 March 2023, the report says that 26 disbursements were made. Are you aware of this?
Your Honor, kay trabaho po kaya ng si security officer. So,
Okay.
siya po.
Kasi kung Mr. Farda, titingnan ko po yung mga lugar kung saan po nag-disburse. Ang lalayo po eh. Kaya ang tanong ko, kaya posible ba ito sa paningin po ninyo?
Your Honor, hindi ko po kasi kasi siya po ang nagtrabaho niyan. So, hindi po ako expert yan.
So, parang sinasabi mo, siya dapat ang sumagot sa katanungan ko.
Diyan po sa question na po yan. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you. Now, COA, sa inyong mga rules and regulations at saka protocol, required and liquidation at saka accomplishment reports. Tama.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Now, please explain to us, ano po ang purpose ng liquidation at saka accomplishment reports?
Yung accomplishment report po ay part ng liquidation. Yung liquidation po kasi is parang explanation kung paano na disburse po yung confidential funds na kinash advance ni SDO.
Okay. Now, would a broad enumeration of the expenses be sufficient or in compliance with the liquidation and accomplishment reports?
As long as andun po siya sa mga expenses na allowed sa joint circular.
Now, in your protocols, how are we certain that the funds were properly spent? Could you please explain to us?
Based po dun sa requirements ng joint circular, they're required to submit these documents na to support yung liquidation po nila.
Now, let's go to dun sa payment of reward. Di po ba? Meron yan, di po ba? At isa yan sa pwedeng paggastusan ng confidential fund.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Correct? Hindi po ba ang requirement dyan, if I remember it right, kailangan merong report on success bago ibibigay yung reward? Would that be correct?
Mr. Chair, documents evidencing the success of the information gathering po.
Tama? Yung sinabi ko.
Yes po.
Now, nandito rin naman po kayo ng mga nakarang hearing. At sinabi ng mga representatives ng Philippine Army. Nandito po kayo noon eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And according to their answers to the questions of the members of this committee, they denied na nakatanggap po sila ng pera mula sa DepEd para sa YLS. Tama?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Pero ito, sinabi nila, nagagamit ito sa pag-liquidate ng confidential funds ng DepEd.
Parang ang explanation po dati is yun na po yung proof na naging successful po yung operations.
Yeah. Mr. Farda, would it be correct na bilang ikaw ay SDO, ikaw rin ang in charge sa paggawa ng liquidation and accomplishment reports? Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. At yung tatlong 37.5 million na iyong natanggap ay ginawan mo ng mga ganito, yung liquidation and accomplishment reports.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Dito muna tayo sa first quarter. Comsec, paki-flash yung liquidation report for the first quarter of 2023. Naalaala mo pa ba ito? And you're aware of this. Now,
Yes, Your Honor.
ayon dito sa liquidation report na ito, you certified na yung cash advance na 37.5 million ay ginamit para sa payment for operation MOE expenses ng DepEd. Tama? Yun po ang nakalagay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Payment for operational and MOE expenses ng DepEd. Ang nakalagay nga it says operational MOE expenses of the Vice President / Secretary of the Department of Education. Tama?
Pero, Your Honor, nagbe-base po yan kasi dun sa dapat pagkagastuhan po ng confidential fund, yung rental, sabi,
Pero yun po ang nandun sa kwan na sinamit po ninyo sa COA.
yes, Your Honor.
Sa linya po ng amount to be refunded, blanco po ang box. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ang ibig sabihin niyan, wala po kayong isinole sa ahensya na naiwan sa 37.5 million. Would that be correct also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. At si Vice President mismo ang nag-certify na nagamit at naubos ang buong cash advance na 37.5 million for the purposes it was meant to be used. Tama rin po.
Yes, sir.
Para ma-certify po ninyo na tama ang data na nakalagay po sa liquidation report, ibig sabihin ito ay alam mo kung saan ginamit yung cash advance. Would that also be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ibig sabihin, alam mo kung saan at kanino napunta ang pera. Tama rin po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, since we have the liquidation report dyan, gusto ko pong tanungin sa inyo, ano ang payment of operational MOE expenses of the Office of the Vice President Islan, Secretary of the Department? Ano po yun? Ano ang ibig sabihin? Ano ang included sa payment of operational slant MOE expenses of the Office of the Vice President Islan, Secretary of the Department? Sigurado ako, alam mo dapat to dahil sinabi mo rin dito kanina sa aking pagtatanong, tama po yung mga nakalagay doon sa liquidation report. Tama.
Your Honor, ito pong to liquidate the cash advance granted for payment operational / MOE expense of the Vice President Secretary covered by check. Ito po kasi yung nakalagay din dun sa disbursement voucher.
Yeah, pero ang ibig sabihin nun po dun sa liquidation report na yan, alam po ninyo, Mr. Farda, being the Special Disbursement Officer, na alam po ninyo what are included dun sa payment of operational and slant MOE expenses of the Office of the Vice President, slant Secretary of the Department. Kasi yun po ang nilagay niyo po dun sa liquidation report.
Actually, Your Honor, ito po lang yung nakalagay dun sa disbursement voucher, pero as to sinasubmit po dun sa COA, nagbe-base po ako dun sa documentary evidence of payment. Yun po talaga pinagkagastusan ng pera.
If that is the case, Mr. Farda, hindi po tama yung pag-certify nyo when you certified to the correctness of the data. Do you agree with that?
Your Honor,
Dahil ikaw na mismo nagsasabi na hindi mo alam
Your Honor, ito po kasi yung nakalagay sa disbursement voucher. Ang ibig sabihin po kasi dun sa nitong pong liquidation nito, ililiquidate ko po itong 37.5.
So, sinunod mo lang kung alin ang nakalagay doon sa DV o disbursement voucher?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ngayon, paano mo malalaman o masasabi na tama ang data na nandun po sa disbursement voucher?
Your Honor, nakalagay naman po dun sa yung 37.5, then sa checker rin, so tali po sila
Now, may I know if alam po ninyo kung ano ibig sabihin ng operational at saka MOE expenses, Mr. Farda? Would you know?
Your Honor, yung po kasing operational dyan,
Hindi, alam niyo po ba ang ibig sabihin ng operational at saka MOE? Yes or no?
yung pong sa MOE, Your Honor, allotted po yung 37.5. Yung pong inilagay po dyan, MOE po sa...
Hindi, pero ang tinatanong ko po kung alam niyo po ang ibig sabihin ng operational at saka MOE. These two are expenses, and would you know dapat alam po ninyo na ano ang operational at saka MOE expenses.
Your Honor, yung pong payment for operational, ang ibig kong sabihin dyan is yung paggastos po ng confidential fund sa confidential operation.
Kasi, Mr. Naiisip nyo ba yung sagot po ninyo sa akin na nagagamit sa operational and MOE expenses yung confidential funds, Mr. Farda? May implication po yun eh. When you say, inaamin mo na yung confidential funds were used for operational and MOE expenses, which were in your liquidation reports, the confidential funds of the DepEd were not evidently used for confidential expenses, kung yun po ang nakalagay. That is the implication of your answer, Mr. Fajardo.
Your Honor, hindi ko lang po siguro nalagyan ng operational confidential operations. Doon po kasi ginagastos.
So, hindi mo nalalagyan ng adjective na confidential operations.
Opo. Yes, Your Honor.
And the document states or shows that you and the Vice President
Nakakabahala ang mga pahayag na narinig natin nitong mga nakarang araw. Nandyan ang walang pakundangang pagmumura at ang pagbabanta ng planong ipapatay ang ilan sa atin. Kung ganun na lang kadali ang pagplano sa pagpatay ng isang presidente, paano pa kaya ang mga pangkaraniwan na mamamayan? Yung ganyang kriminal na pagtatangka ay hindi dapat pinapalampas. Yan ay aking papalagan. As a democratic country, we need to uphold the rule of law. Ako, bilang pinuno ng Executive Department at lahat ng mga nanunungkulan sa pamahalaan ay may sinumpaang tungkulin na tutupdin at pangangalagaan ang konstitusyon at ang ating mga batas. Kaya hindi tama ang pagpigil sa mga halal ng bayan sa paghahanap ng katotohanan. Hindi na sanang hahantong sa ganitong drama kung sasagutin lamang ang mga lehitimong katanungan sa Senado at sa House of Representatives. Ang katotohanan ay hindi dapat itokhang. Tapos na sana ang usapang ito kung tutuparin lamang ang sinumpaang panata na bilang lingkod bayan ay magsabi ng totoo at hindi hahadlangan. Imbis na diretsahang sagot, nililihis pa sa kwentong chicheria. Hangad ko na matuldukan na itong mga pangyayaring ito sa parang matiwasay at magdadala sa atin sa katotohanan. 12 taon din ako nanungkulan sa magkaparehong kamara ng Kongreso. Batid ko ang kapangyarihan iginawad sa kanila ng taong bayan at ng ating konstitusyon. Dahil dito, iginagalang ko ang kanilang gawain bilang isang independenteng sangay ng ating republika. Kahit ang buong executive branch, lahat ng mga ahensya ay hindi nakakaligtas at parating sumasailalim sa kanilang masusing pagsusuri. Bilang isang bansa, marami tayong mga paghamon na dapat harapin at mga suliraning dapat bigyan ng lunas. Sa kabila ng mga pambabatikos, nakatuon ang aking pansin sa pamamahala. Ngunit, hindi natin ikokompromiso ang rule of law. Kailangan manaig ang batas sa anumang sitwasyon, sino man ang tamaan. Kaya hindi ko hahayaan magtagumpay ang hangarin ng iba na hatakin ang buong bansa sa burak ng politika. Igalang natin ang proseso. Tuparin natin ang batas. Alalahanin natin ang mandato na pinagkatiwala sa atin ng milyon-milyon na Pilipino. Magtrabaho po tayo sa ikauunlad ng Republika ng Pilipinas at para matamo ang bagong Pilipinas.
Magandang hapon, Malacanang Press Corps, and welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, November 25. Increased security protocols are being implemented to ensure the safety of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Liza Marcos in light of the death threats against them. Law enforcement agencies are in close coordination while investigating this, as it is a matter of national security. To discuss this matter with us, we are joined by Undersecretary Jesse Andres, Prosecutor General Richard Anthony Fadullon, and National Bureau of Investigation Director Jaime Santiago. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Go ahead, Undersecretary. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. In the light of recent events, very alarming events, the government is taking action to protect our duly elected president. The premeditated plot to assassinate the president, as declared by the self-confessed mastermind, will now face legal consequences. And we are tapping our law enforcement agents to investigate on the whereabouts and the identity of this person and or persons who may be plotting against the president. With me this afternoon is the head of the National Bureau of Investigation, who has primary jurisdiction to conduct an investigation whenever a threat to the presidency is made known. And we will use all the resources of government, all law enforcement agents, to find out the identity of this assassin and the legal consequences arising out of this criminal plot will be dealt with the full force of the law. So the NBI has done an initial investigation, and maybe we can report what we have validated with respect to the authenticity of the video, which was aired in many platforms in social media, to make sure that we are giving due process and we are ascertaining that the video is indeed genuine and the utterances of the Vice President. Mr. Director Santiago, can you kindly enlighten the group?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon po sa inyo, sir. Alam niyo po, mandato ng sa NBI ng ating batas, Republic Act 10867, may primary jurisdiction po ang NBI to investigate threats on the President down to the Chief Justice. So, hindi po namin to tinetake lightly when we receive the video clips nung sinabi nga ni Vice President Sara, nagkondak agad kami ng investigation. First, I directed my cybercrime unit to investigate the authenticity of that video clippings, of that video clip. So, we found out, my investigators found out that the clip is not AI generated, it is not deepfake, it is authentic. So the next step we do is to write yung platform, happen to be na yung FB, Facebook. So we requested na preservation nung clip. So the Facebook ay kinikip na ang video clip for future reference. Granted na po yung request namin na naka-save na po yun. Now, ang next step namin ngayon is dinedetermine namin whatever action, say criminal or whatever action that we will take against the Vice President, especially the person na sinasabi niya na inutusan na niya para ipapatay si President Marcos, the First Lady, and the Speaker.
Thank you.
Ang investigasyon po na gagawin ng gobyerno ukol sa bagay na ito ay agad-agaran. Importante hong malaman kung ano ang mga naging hakbang para po kumuha ng serbisyo ng isang mamamatay tao na nagpaplano ng masamang balakin sa ating mahal na Pangulo. At gagawin po ng National Bureau of Investigation ang lahat ng mga hakbang para matuntun ang identity nito, kasama po ang pag-i-issue po ng subpoena kay Vice President Sara na humarap sa NBI para bigyan po ng kaliwanagan ang kanyang mga pananalita. Dahil po diretsuhan niyang sinabi na siya po ay kumuha na ng tao, na siya pong gagawa ng pagpatay hindi lang po sa Pangulo, kasama po ang ating First Lady at ang ating Speaker of the House. Hindi po tama pong pananalita na nanggagaling po sa napakataas na opisyalis ng ating bayan. Kailangan po agarang investigasyon at meron po tayong paraan sa batas na mag-issue ng subpoena ang National Bureau of Investigation para po paharapin ang ating Vice Presidente at magbigay linaw sa kanyang mga sinabi.
Okay. Are we going to hear from the Prosecutor General?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Well, to add to what Undersecretary Jesse Andres and Director Santiago said earlier, this is something that cannot be taken lightly. In light of the fact that the one who made those statements and made those utterances is the sitting Vice President. And the threat is directed against our Chief Executive, the wife, and the Speaker of the House. So as far as the Office of the Prosecutor General is concerned, the National Prosecution Service, we being part of the executive branch, are mandated to closely work with the National Bureau of Investigation and other law enforcement agencies in making sure that whatever cases, case or cases may be filed later on are something which will be backed up and be supported by evidence. So we have been closely in coordination with the National Bureau of Investigation and with other agencies to ascertain who may be held liable. But I think the immediate threat right now, as mentioned by Undersecretary Andres, is to go after and try to track the assassin or assassins, because this is not something that you can just simply dismiss. Coming from a sitting vice president who is just an earshot from the presidency, if she decides to run, it is something na titingnan natin yung motivation. We have to look at the motive for doing it. But again, we have to look at all of these in the context of all the things that are going on and cannot simply isolate the situation to the statements that were made. So we have to be very careful in going over the events leading to the statements that were pronounced or made by the Vice President.
Thank you. Now
Dagdag ko lang.
Wait.
Ating pong alalahanin na kamakailan lang ay nagbigay din po ng pananalita ang ating Vice President na gusto niyang pugutan ng ulo ang ating Pangulo. Tinanggap po namin na salita yon in a metaphorical way. Isang simbolismo lang ng kanyang galit. Ngunit sa kanya pong bagong pananalita, hindi po maaring isang tabi lang yan at kailangan po ng ating gobyerno na kumilos dahil po ang isang halal na Pangulo ay binigyan po ng banta ng isang mataas ding opisyal ng gobyerno na may kakayahan din na gawin ito. Kaya kami po, we are not leaving any stone unturned. We will take every effort to protect the President and to investigate everyone that could possibly be involved in this assassination plot of the three high-ranking officials of government.
Thank you. Let's open the floor to questions. First one is Chona Yu, People's Journal.
Sir, yung subpoena, na-serve na po ba ito or kailan po ito isa-serve kay Vice President Duterte?
Ngayon po ay ginagawa na naman at isa-serve na agad immediately.
And then also, sir, yung kaso, anong pwedeng ikaso kay Vice President Duterte doon sa kanyang mga statement?
Ang Vice Presidente po ay maraming posibleng legal liabilities sa kanya pong mga nagawang pananalita at mga aksyon na ginawa kasabay nito. Hindi po namin sinasara ang pinto sa mga malalaking kaso, ngunit ayon po sa due process, kailangan pong isaganap muna namin ang kumpletong investigasyon. We have to go into every possible angle, hear testimonies, collate previous testimonies given, and do a forensic study that will fortify all possible cases. But we assure you, the full force of the law will be used in dealing with this matter.
Sir, NBI, sir, may lead na po ba kayo sa assassins? Kung ano yung profile maybe or background?
Actually, wala pa po. Yan ay malilinawan pagka pumunta, sumagot sa subpoena namin si Vice President Sara at siya po magpaliwanag kung sino yun.
Okay. Next question, Ivan Mayrina, GMA 7. Mike, please.
Good afternoon. Yung pagtukoy ho natin sa assassin, assuming matukoy natin siya, ano ho magiging pananagutan niya sa batas kung wala pa namang nangyaring krimen?
Marami pong legal liabilities ang tao, lalo na pag meron pong ma-establish na conspiracy to commit an attempt on the life of our chief executive. Right now, we are open to all possible crimes. And we are not looking at one particular offense, criminal offense. But as I said, definitely there will be criminal and other legal liabilities that will be enforced against the plotters and those who will execute it and those who took part in it. So we will complete the investigation, and definitely we will file the appropriate cases. But we will not identify the particular offense at this point in time.
Earlier, the Vice President issued a statement saying that her statement was taken out of its logical context. Ano hong masasabi niyo doon?
Well, as I said, gagawin po natin ang lahat ng isang patas at malawak na investigasyon. We will put into proper context her statements. But I simply recall that when she answered certain questions and she declared the plot to assassinate the president, she even immediately added, "This is no joke. This is no joke. I did it. And I wanted to make sure that this person will do it to its completion." And again, we will give the Vice President a chance to explain.
But in your view, given that phrase, no joke, that she wasn't joking, that leaves no room for the statement to be taken out of context.
Definitely, we will take it as a serious threat because it came from the mouth of the sitting Vice President.
Thank you.
Okay. Eden Santos, Net 25.
Good afternoon po, sir. On the part of the Vice President naman po, meron po ba kayong information na meron ding threat sa buhay niya?
Maybe we can ask the law enforcement agents
On the part of the NBI, hindi kami nakakatanggap ng any information regarding the threat on the life of the Vice President.
Kaya po niya nasabi yon dahil parang gusto rin niyang protektahan yung sarili niya against naman po dun sa planong pagpapatay din sa kanya, sort of. Wala po kayong ganung intelligence information?
Wala po, sir. Ay, ma'am, wala po.
Okay. Sam Medinilla, Business Mirror.
In answer also to that, as you will observe, everything that is being done is through legal processes and legal proceedings. If ever the Vice President is being held accountable, it is in a legal process. And it is all done within the bounds of the Constitution and the law.
Thank you. Sam Medinilla, Business Mirror.
Tatanong ko lang po. Can the Vice President face possible preventive suspension while the investigation is ongoing?
First, the Vice President is not immune from suit. She can be the subject of any criminal administrative case, and the Ombudsman also has authority to do its duty to discipline and to take necessary measures to deliver on its mandate as the investigator of all high-ranking government officials. So it is within the authority of the Ombudsman to act on this matter as well.
Okay. Harley Valbuena, DZME.
Hi, good afternoon. For NBI po, sir, how soon can we expect an arrest or detention of someone over this matter? Because I remembered way back 2020, there was a teacher who randomly posted on social media, he offered 50 million pesos reward for anyone who can kill the then President Rodrigo Duterte. So I'm just curious, can we expect the same response over this matter?
Yes, we are aware of that case. Actually, it is the NBI who arrested that person, Mr. Romel Mas. He is a school teacher who offered 50 million pesos to kill PRRD. Arestado agad siya, but then later parang parang pinatawad na rin ni PRRD. This time, out of courtesy, masasabi natin, out of courtesy, due process, hindi po namin agad inaresto si Vice President dahil siya ay Vice President, napakataas na opisyal. So we are giving her chance, due process, to answer yung ibinibintang sa kanya. No, this is by way of subpoena, and we will ask her to appear before our office within 5 days from today. Appear siya sa amin, sagutin niya yung aming mga tanong para mabigyan ng pagkakataon ng ating Vice President.
Okay. Ira Panganiban, DZRJ.
Yes, two questions. First question is,
It's an if-then situation. If this happens to me, then this is what I will do. What's the legal implication of that? If something happens, the statement of Vice President Sara Duterte was, if something happens to me, then I will do this. Is there, what's the legal implication of that?
The important thing that everyone should understand from those statements is the lack of recourse to legal and judicial remedies. That is what is appalling in this situation, where a high-ranking official would not have recourse to legal and judicial remedies to seek redress. So all of us are governed by the rule of law, and no one is above the law. If there is a need to exact justice for a criminal act, then it has to be through the legal and judicial process. We cannot take the law into our own hands. No one should espouse that kind of thinking. And that is why I strongly believe that that exposes her to criminal liabilities.
Question number 2, she claims that one of her security personnel attempted to take her life. Is the NBI, the Department of Justice, the government looking into this allegation?
Parang wala kaming natanggap na ganyan na sinabi niya na one of her security aid. Remember that the Vice President, even the Vice President, is being protected by our Presidential Security Command.
There was part of that statement in her ranting.
We will go over that. But i-clarify ko lang yung napakadelikado yung sinasabi niya na pag ako namatay. Take note. Pag ako namatay, hindi niya sinabing pag ako napatay. Magkaiba yun, yung mga Tagalog dito, magkaiba yun. Pag ako namatay, paano kung na-overdose siya, nalason siya ng, wala namang kasalanan ng mga agencies, wala namang kasalanan ng president, bakit papapatay niya ang president? No? Kaya iba yung pag ako napatay. Ayan, somebody assassinated her. Papapatay niya yung presidente. Magkaiba eh. Pinag-aaralan namin mabuti yung statement niya.
Katrina Domingo, ABS-CBN 2.
Sir, in the Vice President's rant, she also mentioned that former Communications Secretary Harry Roque is already out of the country. Can she also be held liable for withholding knowledge as to where Mr. Roque is?
Wala naman. Kung umalis na si Roque, kung hindi naman sila accused pa in a certain crime na mapapagsabihan natin na in conspiracy silang dalawa.
Sir, another question. The former president of the IBP mentioned that she has violated Canon 1 for lawyers. Will that be grounds for her disbarment?
Pwede. Yes.
Is the government
Pero
inclined to file a disbarment case against her?
Ayan, kasama na yan. Yun nga sinabi ni Yusek Andres, lahat ng legal liabilities. Mananagot siya sa lahat ng legal aspect. Sinabi pa niya na she is acting as a lawyer for Lopez. And that cannot be done. Hindi siya pwedeng mag-practice. Ang general rule is that public officials cannot practice their profession. No? Pwede yun kung pinapayagan at hindi in conflict sa kanyang opisina. Remember that ang iniimbestigahan ay ang opisina ni VP Sara. Therefore, she cannot act as counsel sa opisina niya na siya ang iniimbestigahan. May conflict. Ganun po yun. Pero yun mga matter na yun, light na lang yun about yung siya being a lawyer. Pero yung utterances niya na pagbabanta, yan ang pinupukpukan namin at siniserious namin na consider.
Yeah, we're actually, if I may add, as mentioned earlier, we're looking at all angles and all possible cases. So it's not limited to the filing of possible criminal cases or criminal charges alone, but even violations of the CIPRA, no? And possibly disbarment case if there are grounds. So yan po ay pinag-aaralan ngayon, pero nabanggit nga kanina, siguro at this point, it would not be prudent to make any disclosures yet as to what possible cases, whether they're criminal or administrative, that will be filed or be considered for filing by the Department of Justice or by the NBI.
Sir, can you give us at least a timeline as to when you intend to resolve these investigations?
This investigation will be commenced as we speak. At the moment, it has been started even before this press conference. And we will continue to do this until we get to the bottom of it. This is a serious threat, a very, very bad precedent for our country if we will not take legal action on these kinds of threat coming from a very high-ranking official. We have to maintain order in a civilized society by adherence to the rule of law. And we will apply the full strength and force of the law on this matter.
Thank you. Raquel Bayan, Raja Pilipinas. Please pass the mic to the back.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, yung mga ganitong pronouncement coming from the Vice President to the President, pwede po ba ito maging grounds for impeachment?
Impeachment is a constitutional option that is vested in the House of Representatives to initiate and eventually elevate it into the Senate. It is not within the ambit of our authority to determine whether this should be a ground for impeachment. But I will only say that there are serious violations of the law in these acts. So we will leave it up to Congress to make that determination.
Okay. Leth Narciso, DZRH.
Sir, dahil nga may naging nauna ng pahayag si VP Sara last month na gusto niyang pugutan ng ulo si Presidente, and then now itong kill statement. Clear na po ba yung pattern na may plano laban sa buhay ni PBBM?
Maaari po. I-consider po namin yung lahat ng mga pinagsasabi niya previous and up to this latest declaration ni VP Sara.
Okay. Ria Fernandez, TV5.
Sirs, good afternoon. Aside from the possible charges that you mentioned earlier, are we also looking into filing sedition raps against the Vice President because of the statements she made against the President?
Based on our initial study, sedition is a possibility. We are not closing our eyes on other possible criminal offenses, even graver than sedition. But grave threats and sedition are obviously being considered. But we are not making that determination now. As I said, due process warrants that every angle should be investigated. Every party should be given an opportunity to be heard. And in due time, in observance of due process, we will make that determination to file the appropriate case.
Just a follow-up regarding lang po doon sa sinasabi rin ni VP na kaya niya nasabi yun because there is an actual threat against her. Meron din po ba tayong parang, are we also considering to look into that claim of the Vice President that there is a threat against her life?
The government is supposed and will protect every citizen of the country. Of course, that includes the Vice President. We have every reason to afford her protection from the law, from lawless elements. And, we are surprised that there is a possibility that there is a threat, and we will give necessary law enforcement agents to make that investigation as well. If you think there is such a threat coming, but as of now, we have not received any formal complaint or request for assistance on that particular matter. But as you saw, as I've been saying, everything that is directed against the Vice President, if she is being held accountable, are being done through legal and constitutional processes. So it is not done extrajudicially. And what is really appalling is the possibility of resorting to extrajudicial measures and exacting justice. That is why we said that this is a very alarming situation, because every public official should be an individual that can be emulated by all to follow. And coming from a high-ranking official, these words are very disturbing. It is not instilling peace, order, and support and defending the Constitution. So that is why we are greatly alarmed and we are taking all necessary action on this matter.
Okay, next question, Maricar Sargon, Brigada News FM.
Sir, good afternoon. I know this is your mandate. May utos man po o wala yung presidente, but we just want to know kung meron po bang personal directive sa inyo si President Marcos? Yung regarding sa investigation.
Well, it is our duty to make that on our own because the mandate of the Department of Justice includes the investigation of crimes. That is why the National Bureau of Investigation has been tasked already and has commenced the complete investigation of this matter. The National Prosecution Service is the arm of government that will develop the case and eventually seek justice, enforce the law through the appropriate criminal case to be filed in court. And we are mobilizing all law enforcement agents, including the Philippine National Police under the directive of the Secretary of Interior and Local Government, to do their own investigation so that we will pull all possible information and evidence collated and hold people accountable for this.
Thank you. Christian Isores, Radio sa East Trenta. Behind you.
Good afternoon, sirs. Sa mga recent po na hearing sa House, nahirapan pong padaluhin ng mga congressman si VP Sara sa mga nakaraan. Pero this time po na magpapadala tayo ng subpoena sa kanya, paano natin siya makakompel na sumagot? And ano pong pwedeng mangyari kung hindi pa rin siya sumagot sa inyong subpoena?
Ang mandato namin ay tiyakin that due process is observed at all instances. The subpoenas will be issued and she will be given an opportunity to present her side. That's the rationale why we are, or the NBI is going to send the subpoena in the first place. Ngayon, kung hindi siya tumugon, hindi naman po pwedeng tayo ay maghintay hanggang sila ay good and ready. Whatever evidence is in the possession of or will be in the possession of the NBI based on its investigation outside of any statement or any cooperation coming from them is something that we can work on already. Ang sinasabi lang natin is hindi pwede na gawin natin ito ng marahas. Kailangan sumunod tayo sa naayon sa batas at pagkatapos nating sundin to at nabigyan natin sila ng pagkakataon at sila hindi tumugon, wala tayong magagawa kundi ipatupad ang batas at sundin ito batay sa ebidensya na hawak natin.
Let me just give another perspective that what is on trial here is actually even our justice system. People have always been saying that justice is not fair. It is only leaning in favor of those who have privilege or power. But now we will have the opportunity to show that no one is above the law and that accountability can be exacted from anybody so that people will now really give respect to the law. If we are not able to apply the law to other people who have influence and power, what kind of government can we provide? So that is what is at stake here. I hope people understand that there is nothing personal about this, but things happen because we have to strengthen our institutions. And we will do what is necessary under the Constitution and in accordance with the Constitution.
Okay, Alvin Baltasar, Radyo Pilipinas.
Sir, pwede lang pong paki-specify kung ano yung batas na dapat nating ipatupad kung sakali mang hindi tumugon doon sa subpoena si Vice President Sara.
Kung hindi po siya tumugon sa subpoena na aming papadala, tulad nga po sinabi ni Yusek Andres at ni PG Padulyon, kung ano yung ebidensya na nandun sa kamay namin, ay we will proceed with it. Ipapile namin yung, kung merong dapat ipile na kaso, ipapile na po namin yun. At remember, pag pinail ng investigating office like NBI, ipapile po yan sa prosecution office. And then the prosecution, the office of the Department of Justice, sila magde-determine whether there is prima facie evidence, may certainty of conviction bago nila ipapile ang case.
Director. Sige, may follow-up yata.
Okay, let's go back to Chona Yu and
Sir,
then to Eden Santos.
Just a quick follow-up on that. Do you have the power to cite her in contempt kung hindi siya susunod sa subpoena? Do you have that?
Kami po, wala. Pagka hindi po tumugon sa aming subpoena, kung ano pong available evidence sa kamay namin, yun po, doon kami gagawa ng report and refer the matter to the prosecutor's office.
Okay, let's go back to Eden Santos.
Sir, meron na po ba tayong binuong task force? Kung meron man, kailan po natin ito na-form regarding dito sa kaso na ito against BP Sara?
Yun nga po, dahil mandato ng NBI na imbestigahan agad any threat to the President down to the Chief Justice. Nung Sabado, nung early morning ng Sabado, ay pinatawag ko na po ang aking mga abogado na mga mahusay, cybercrime chief, yung aking assistant on special concern, yung aking COS, puro sila abogado. Umupo na po agad kami at inumpisahan na namin ang investigasyon. Mamaya pong hapon, uupo po uli kami at kung ano nang nagather namin na evidence na hindi pa man namin na iimbestigahan si BP Sara, kung ano po na evidence na hawak na namin.
Sir, ano pong pangalan po nung task force? Ang task force BP Sara? Ganun.
Wala akong ipinangalan na Task Force BP Sara. Wala pong ganon. Basta ako'y tumawag lamang yung aking inaasahan, mga competent lawyers ng NBI na makakatulong po sa investigasyon.
Wala po tayong itatawag dun sa task force para mas malinaw lang po.
Sa ngayon po, wala po. Wala pong special name sila. Opo, sir.
Yun po bang video clip from Facebook, masasabi po natin itong magiging matibay na ebidensya?
Matibay pong ebidensya yun dahil napatunayan po namin yun ay authentic, talaga pong nangyari at na-preserve na po namin sa Facebook app.
Okay, let's go to Melvin Gascon and we're about to wrap up this press conference. Over there. Please give the mic to Melvin.
Good afternoon, sir. Tatanong ko lang, sir, ngayon po, halos napakalakas po nung response ng Executive Department doon po sa statements made by Vice President. I'm just curious, were these threats ever been corroborated by the intelligence community?
Yun pong threat itself na pinahayag ni BP Sara, doon po kami nagbabank na mag-imbestiga ng maigi. No? Revelation yun. Mayroon siyang kinausap na assassin na gagawin itong bagay nito against the president. So doon po kami nakatutok maigi.
So wala pong lumabas from intelligence services na may ganong elemento ng...
There is an active threat to the president, given that the one who made that pronouncement is a high-ranking, influential, and also powerful official. Whether that is corroborated by previous acts is actually contributory only to our drive to, enforce the law. It is not for anyone to speak in that manner, to disrupt public order by making threats, especially on the life of anyone, more so the life of the chief executive of this country, a duly elected leader of the country. So we have to put our foot down on this matter because everyone is relying on the president to execute the laws and to deliver the services to our country. But if he will be impeded by threats such as this, then he will be impaired in delivering the service to our countrymen. And that should be the view of every Filipino. A threat to the president is a threat to every Filipino because he is the one expected to deliver the service. And if he is impeded because of that threats, then it is a disservice to our people.
Thank you, sir.
Jean Mangoluz, Philippine Star. Leth, please pass the mic.
Good afternoon. It's no secret that the Duterte family has criticisms against the president. Will your investigation extend to the Duterte clan?
Hindi naman. Mag-ano kami dito, magpo-focus kami dito sa declaration ni Vice President Sara.
Okay. Alvin Baltasar, last question. Radyo Pilipinas.
Sir, last na lang sa akin. Sir, how capable VP Sara to perform such threat against the President and the First Lady?
Yun nga, sabi ni Yusek, as described by Yusek, very powerful si Vice President Sara, mataas na posisyon sa government, very influential, kaya lalong matindi yung threat na binabantayan natin ngayon.
Yeah, please understand that if ever this threat of assassination actually happens or is accomplished, she is the ultimate beneficiary. And we have to, do everything to protect the president. Understandably, if such an event happens, who will benefit? She is the beneficiary of the death of the president. So her words have to be taken in the proper context. Previously, she made the declaration that the president's head should be cut off, pugutan ng ulo. And now, this more specific allegation on engaging an assassin to kill people, including the president. That is a very serious action taken by the VP. And we have to, go through the process and seek accountability for this.
Okay. Vance Fernandez, Police Files.
Last question.
Good afternoon, sirs. Will the president move to an undisclosed location for the interest of his safety?
We leave it up to the Presidential Security Group to make that determination. But we have to say that we have a very efficient and effective Presidential Security Group that will do what is best for our president.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Department of Justice Undersecretary Andres, Prosecutor General Fadulion, and NBI Director Santiago. Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps. This concludes our press briefing today.